UFC 254, Khabib Nurmagomedov against Justin Gaethje, the lightweight championship fight of the decade. Not really, not the fight of the decade, but if there is anyone who can make Gaethje look fallible, not make Nurmagomedov, Khabib look fallible, it is Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, and I said previously that Justin Gaethje had lost a lot. I don't know why I said that. He's only lost twice. Former World Series of Fighting champion, has had some amazing battles over there, and now interim lightweight champion, especially after what he did to Tony Ferguson. It is really hard to not see Justin Gaethje as a world beater. His change of game against Tony Ferguson brings us to spatial awareness again, distance control, and that was what was so impressive about that fight. Whereas Gaethje is usually the shorter guy, he's always kind of the shorter with the shorter reach, and he's able to get in and work his angles and throw those power shots, and he don't throw with anything other than bad intentions. And now he's always able to use his leg kicks to debilitate his opponents, and he's able to get in and do massive work, right? He throws everything with bad intentions, everything with power. And it's interesting because the last fight, what was so masterful about it is that his coach Trevor Whitman was able to tell him, take out some of that power, take 10% off of the power. He went back out to the fight and he was able to stop Tony by not trying to release all of his energy in every punch. He's not trying to knock out Tony in every punch, and he was able to just touch and move. He was able to angle out, kick, touch, move, and really just schooled, put on a clinic. So it was very interesting to see. And now it brings us to this fight where the only way Gaethje can win this fight, in my opinion, is if he completely controls distance. If he completely controls the distance and is able to stop Khabib from making those mad rushes. Khabib, as you know, is always going to go in there and he's going to come in and he's going to do work, and he's going to come in with a little frantic energy, throw the jab, he's going to throw the overhand right, whatever it is. He might come in with the jumping, the flying knee, and find a way to just get close so that he can grab onto you. Everybody's talking about Justin Gaethje's wrestling pedigree, talking about how great Justin Gaethje is. I don't know if I put Justin Gaethje's wrestling that high above Michael Johnson's wrestling. And we saw what happened to Michael Johnson. But I will say that even Justin talks about the fact that he does not really work his wrestling that much in training camp. All the clips we see of Justin training, it's usually of him striking. He's so in love with striking. He's in love with body shots, with the kicking, all of that. And it will be interesting to see if he's able to hold up with the kind of pressure that Khabib is going to be able to put on him. Khabib is not going to get knocked out with one punch. He's a durable fighter, or that's what we've seen in the past. He's been able to take hits and keep coming ahead and get himself out of trouble. He's able to withstand the little flurries that people come with, and he knows how to angle away and move away when he's in a bad spot. Khabib, arguably the greatest lightweight to ever live, 28-0. I think a lot of people still have him, still need him to beat some past heroes like GSP or something to hold that title. But I don't agree. I think Khabib has shown extreme dominance. When you count how many rounds he's lost over his career, it's very difficult to say that he's lost more than one in the UFC. Now Khabib is going to come in hard, he's going to come in fast, and he's going to have to watch for those leg kicks. The question is Khabib going to use those leg kicks as a means to shoot? When Justin throws these leg kicks, it's so seamless, it's so fast. He has no tells for the leg kicks. Sometimes he hides them behind punches, sometimes he just throws. But it's so quick. It's so quick that it's hard to time. And if Khabib, I don't think Khabib is going to wait their timing, because then he's also going to be open to a little bit of deception, changing that kick into something else, or feinting the kick and adding something else. And I think that's something that Khabib is a little too smart to do. This fight camp was a difficult thing for Khabib. He was talking about being in Russia and training there, and it being very difficult to train without his father having recently passed. It will take an effect on him in terms of his training that he's had, especially in the early parts of his camp. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to distance control. If Gaethje is going to be able to do this while Khabib is coming in, because it's a different kind of entry for Khabib, whereas Korean Zombie was trying to enter to strike, and obviously in boxing Lomachenko was trying to enter to strike. It's a completely different thing for Khabib now, who's going to enter and run for those legs. And Khabib is not above diving at your ankles, which is an interesting thing that he does. And there's also the cage. He wants to get you against that cage. He wants to get that high crotch, inside leg trip, all of that stuff. So I think that distance control is going to be interesting, and we're going to see if he's able to do that. I hear people talking about Gaethje's conditioning. I do not think that's a factor. I think Gaethje's conditioning is incredible. You have to consider the way that he's fought this whole time. This whole time he's been putting, the pace has always been incredible when Justin Gaethje fights. It's been just consistent mayhem. Well, it looks like mayhem, but it's beautiful fight science that's happening. He's always throwing punches. He knows how to take a punch in terms of moving his head. It's always glancing off. He's never taken a punch solid, really. And when he does, you see him get rocked and he finds a way to come back, as with the Michael Johnson fight. You know, what's interesting is to see, when we talk about the leg kicks, for instance, look at Khabib versus Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza is one of the best leg kickers out there. And when it came to that fight, Barboza wasn't able to fire those leg kicks. He was given zero space. Khabib was always on top of him. Now, I will admit that in the closer, Justin Gaethje is going to be a hell of a lot better wrestler. But guess what? Justin Gaethje has been taken down before. He does get taken down. I think Khabib definitely will take him down. The thing with Gaethje is that Gaethje pops up really quickly. And even when you see Gaethje versus Edson Barboza, that was something too that Gaethje also did. He took away all the space from Edson so that he couldn't throw the kind of combinations, spinning moves and all that he wanted to, when he wanted to. So he had to rush everything that he was trying to do, and literally trying to run, he got caught with that right hand. So both fighters are really good at coming forward. They're really good at pressuring and closing that space, that gap. Gaethje would have paid attention to the way that Khabib pounces in with his punches and with his shots, and I think it's going to be a hard night for Khabib. I think it's going to be very difficult for Khabib to take him down the first couple of times, but we know that Khabib he doesn't give up on the takedowns. He does take rounds off, and I think that's where we're going to have a trouble. If Gaethje is going to consistently be able to fight off those takedowns, we know that Khabib is going to probably want to take a round off, and it's what happens when he does that that's going to be the deciding factor, considering that Gaethje will always come forward. He will always pressure, and he'll pressure with heavy punches, heavy kicks. He'll go to the body a lot too, right? So he'll do all the right things to slow his fighters down, his opponents down, before he goes in and gets that finish. So it's going to be a very tactical fight. We know both fighters' game plans, which is what's so interesting about it. It's going to be which specialist, per se, is more effective in executing their game plan. If we were to go based upon what we've seen in the past, I have to give the fight to Khabib. The betting odds still favor Khabib at minus 300. and Justin Gaethje is at plus 245. So the betting favorite is still Khabib. It's hard to bet against someone who's been so reliable at 28-0. I think Justin Gaethje could get it done. Absolutely could get it done. Just based upon his last performance in particular, where he was able to control the distance so well, is able to move. And he did talk about the fact that he got a surgery done on his nose, so he's breathing better now than ever before. So that also has something to play in terms of his cardio, in terms of how long he'll be able to go on and fight in a effective, offensive way. So let's see what happens. His takedown defense is what it is. He has a great takedown average, and we're gonna see what happens. But I do lean towards Khabib, as most people do. So we'll see what happens.